Forward Progress, a Chicago Bears podcast with Dan Bernstein and Matt Abaticola on 312 Sports.
We give you Forward Progress here on 312 Sports. I'm Dan Bernstein. That is Matt Abaticola. This podcast about your Chicago Bears and the NFL. And it's brought to you by Church Brewing, New Buffalo's brewery-pizzeria in a historic church, wood-fired Neapolitan pizza, small batch craft beer, brunch every day. Visit beerchurchbrewing.com. The Bears are 2-2.
Unbelievably 2-2.
Somehow, some way, they're kind of right where they're supposed to be. They are right in the blob. They are right there in the blob as Ben Johnson gets started figuring out what he's doing here as a head coach, what he wants this to be, beginning to sort through some of the players, making moves on the fly.
Yeah, I've heard some people talk about, just like friends and people in life talk about the bye week being too early. They don't like it, want some more time. I think it's perfect for a brand new regime, brand new team trying to put things together. People will say later in the season is better with some injuries and kind of recovery. I like this. I like Ben Johnson because I don't see this guy taking a second off during this bye week and just hopefully fixing the things that he can fix this week as they prepare for the Commanders game coming up in a couple weeks.
And again, the Bears practiced Tuesday. They had a lifting day on Wednesday.
Yep.
And they're off now for the 4 days that is collectively bargained. That certainly lets them do that. I like the fact that the bye week comes here because it allows Beth and me to head down to New Orleans and see Jason timed up with their break.
That works out well.
It's their fall break, and then instead of having to fly him home, he's just going to stay there, and we can take him out to a couple of dinners, and then he'll walk us around and have us buy him things.
What's the dinner you have to have for me? Remember I told you. Because it's fried chicken.
It is the fried
fest.
chicken festival, but
yes.
we've got I don't know. We worked something out. We've got a dinner at one of the Brennan restaurants it's the Brennan restaurant that the locals recommend. It's called Bourbon.
Okay,
and it's a lot of their classic stuff, but it's one of the new Dickie Brennan places. We're going there, and then because we happened to buy a New Orleans trip at a charity event. We went, the Intonation Music Festival was honoring my cousin Brian as like their man of the decade or something, whatever. So one of their live auction items was a trip to New Orleans. We knew we'd be going, so we figured we might as well buy this and give the money to the organization.
Yep.
So we also have a jazz cruise dinner with
nice.
a Grammy-nominated New Orleans jazz band going all around like the river, Mississippi River and Lake Pontchartrain and all that while we...
Well, that's fun.
Yeah.
But you owe me a fried chicken dinner in the bathtub at the hotel.
Yeah, baby.
You got to do that.
By myself.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely by yourself.
I'll get a separate room at that point.
Yeah, I'm sure Beth already has separate rooms. You just don't know about it yet.
Nothing to do with that. So joining us now here on Forward Progress is an old friend who you will recognize as soon as you see him. It is Danny Parkins, the co-host of First Things First on FS1. He is a national television superstar who has taken time out of his busy schedule to join us. Hello, sir. How you been?
What's up, friend? Fried chicken in a bathtub. That sounds lovely.
Yeah, it's fine. You just don't want to watch me eat it. That's generally, especially when it comes to chicken, whether it's wings or fried chicken, just don't watch me eat. Because
it's just there's never a good reason to watch you eat anything.
There's bones flying everywhere. Yeah. There's all sorts of things happening. Occasionally, I'm at least partially unclothed, even in public.
Yes.
So it's
my favorite part.
It's not a pretty scene.
What's up, Danny?
How are you?
What's up, guys? Thank you for having me on. Congratulations on this. I've been a big fan. I was thrilled to hear the news, and I was like, I knew Dan was going to do something, and then I was like, with Abaticola, oh my God, we're getting the band back together. But like, this is really dope. And I have not listened to every episode of everything, but I have listened to a decent amount. And you guys just sound like you are having fun and not stressed at all. Like, I have no idea if that is accurate. I know I've texted you a little bit, Dan, on the side, but like, You guys just do not sound at all encumbered by anything, which I think is lovely.
Well, that's kind of the point. I think unencumbered might actually be more proper than unfiltered.
Yes.
Truly, I mean, it doesn't have quite the same ring, but Dan Bernstein unencumbered. Yeah, there's definitely some truth to that. I think what brings a lot of the joy is the autonomy. I think just being able for us to come to work and be in charge is really nice.
That's a nice, talk about what you care about. Things weren't mandated on what you could talk about at the score, but there was like an expectation. And
play the hits.
Play the hits. You got to play the hits. You have energy, reset, play the hits. But no, listen, it was, I don't know how many you want my thoughts on everything that led to you ending up here, but I will just say it is great to hear you. It is completely ridiculous what happened.
I earned it.
I know.
I earned it. I mean, you can say in the grand scheme of things, it's ridiculous because things like that involving Twitter and fish are clearly are objectively ridiculous. But I don't think I was necessarily unfairly treated. I don't think I necessarily got shed. They made their decision. And
I know they did. And I can say that their, suspensions would have been better than firings. And I
well, they suspended me too.
yeah, that's true. But listen, I think you're an institution, and it's a bummer. If a dope like me could get a goodbye show, it's insane that you didn't. And I just, the airwaves are worse to not have you on it, but it is. It is forward progresses and 312s and YouTube's gain, man. So it's awesome.
And Hubbard Broadcasting and being part of this wonderful family-owned company is, for me, an incredible new experience after being part of publicly traded corporate radio for so long. It's very, very different.
Yeah, and Danny, after 8 years of being in the corporate sales world and now back into something that I love and I really enjoy every day, and I am very happy, I can be the first to say I am very glad Dan was fired.
Yeah, that worked out nice for you.
This was a great thing.
What a come up for you. Bernstein's fired. You send the text like, hey, man, I'm so sorry. And on the side, you're like, yes.
Yeah, let's go.
Opportunity knocks.
Here's a plan.
Who knew?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: as married as you've been to Caleb Williams for years now, how in your business, once you have a take, that's in your portfolio. Like I look at, especially the way you guys do things, you've basically got. You're almost like a hedge fund manager in that you're short on certain things, you're long on certain things, and once you have it, it's hard to unwind that trade. So you are established as a Caleb Williams believer, a Caleb Williams sort of true believer guy.
Yes.
Where are you now, based on the body of evidence that's continuing to grow?
I mean, unwavered, man. Like he is the ultimate eye test project to me. I cannot divorce myself from when I see him escape the pocket, evade the rush, shake off a dude, and then throw the ball 35 yards down the field on a line at a sidearm angle. I'm like, oh, that's Aaron Rodgers. Like, that's Patrick Mahomes. That's Josh Allen. Like, I don't know if he will get to that level. But there are certain things that he can do that guys who have been paid $250 million simply cannot do. And so what I believe is that the highest level of quarterback play possible in the NFL are guys with his skill set. Like Joe Burrow is an amazing player who statistically last year had one of the great seasons that you could possibly have. And I would love to have Joe Burrow. And obviously Joe Burrow is better than Caleb Williams, obviously. But there are things that Caleb Williams can do that Joe Burrow cannot. And so like if Caleb maximizes and realizes his like between the ears potential, which is what Ben Johnson was given $10 million plus per year to unlock and to harness, think about the best quarterback seasons we've ever seen. Mahomes going 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns his second year in the league. Aaron Rodgers going 45 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, right? Like the truly great, I throw the ball down the field. I am an attacking quarterback. I can play on schedule and off schedule. When a play breaks down, I can uniquely still make a great play with my arm talent and my athleticism. And I don't turn the ball over, but not because I'm conservative, but because I'm just awesome and deadly accurate. To me, those are the most special players in the league. And he clearly has it. He clearly has that physical ability. He does some dumb shit sometimes, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like
he also, like, is he accurate enough? And if not, is that something that gets better? These are the questions that I have. There's too many mid-range throws that just have to be in a better spot.
He misses layups. He misses layups. And I think that, like, some of that, at least the coaches seem to believe, and I know Ben Johnson believes, that it's like a fundamentals thing. It's a footwork thing, and that he absolutely is accurate enough, and that his college statistics suggest that he is accurate enough, and his ability to put the ball anywhere he wants on the field on a dime is great. But sometimes when he is in his head too much, he is like the fundamentals break down and he doesn't step into a throw, or he drops to that like weird, like 3/4 sidearm angle when he doesn't need to. And it's like, buddy, that's your changeup. Don't make it your fastball. So I think that his talent is so tantalizing that I will be the guy who goes down with the ship. Like I will not, okay. I will not be the, like, I have a child and I like get off the boat early. Like I will be the
Billy captain. Zane. Yeah.
I will not be Billy Zane. I will be the guy closing myself in the door. Gentlemen, it's been an honor playing with you. And then I'll keep playing the cello as the ship goes down. Like the talent
badly.
Bad, obvious. Was it a cello? Was it a violin? Is it a viola? Is it a clarinet? I don't know.
Right. I picture you like holding the bow and moving the cello across the bow.
Yeah. And then my arm getting tired.
What's wrong with that guy? I don't know.
I always took you more for a sax guy, though. You look more like a sax guy.
Oh, man. So true story. I played the clarinet. I went recorder, clarinet, and then I was the last kid who qualified I like barely made the cut to go from recorder to saxophone, but I didn't care at all. But my parents thought it was like a good thing to do and like music, whatever. And so I did it. And then at the first like concert that like the parents would go to after you practice the music for like 8-12 weeks or whatever, like my parents came to the concert and it was like this big ensemble thing. And at the end, my mom was like, I'm so proud of you. You were so great. And the truth of the matter was I didn't play a single note.
Oh, nice.
I just sat there and I was in the third row and I moved my fingers and I didn't do anything. And I was like, I have to quit music. I don't know what I'm doing.
But it was still, I can, from the parents' perspective, the process of learning an instrument, the process of learning music and exercising that part of your brain, I would say will still pay dividends somewhere down the road. It is why you should always require a kid, even if it's a short period of time, learn an instrument, take a few lessons, because you never know when that's going to come back, and maybe you'll play harpsichord or zither someday. Who knows?
The parody songs I did with Speaks.
There you go.
Yes, exactly.
That's what it was meant to be.
I'm not sure how much of the Bears 4 games you've consumed, and maybe you've taken them all in.
Every snap.
Okay, there you go. Perfect. So, yeah, we know that. So our assessment has been that Ben Johnson got here, realized it was a heavier lift than he thought it was going to be. You watch these first 4 games, and it kind of comes apparent, especially in watching the games and then hearing him post-game. What has been your assessment of where the Cubs? I'm so excited about the playoff game today. Where the Bears were at and where they are now after their first 4 games.
Yeah, I think that what you said is true, and I don't think that Ben Johnson is the only person that got hired over there that kind of looked around and was like, "Holy cow, we got some cleaning up to do." You know, and by the way, I don't think that Ben Johnson is the first coach to be overwhelmed by that. Like,
we know that John Fox, the moment he got there, was like, "What is this shit? I need this. I need this. This practice facility sucks. You suck. What is this? This is terrible." And they actually got another practice field. Like all he did his entire tenure was bitch, and it actually helped.
Yes, John Fox's legacy is the field. which is not nothing. Or no, Eberflus
is Fox is a practice facility.
Yeah, Fox is the practice facility, and Matt Nagy, I think, was just bitching.
Headsets.
I think Matt Nagy was like, "What is going on? Can Andy Reid come with me to help because I need more help?" Yeah, so I think that is a thing that we have seen for many coaches, and I absolutely think it applies to Ben Johnson as well. I think I've been thinking about you, Dan. We have shared a conversation on air, off air about football coaches are not normal people. Like they are like an inherently like off weird breed of human.
Yeah,
and
they're not wired right.
Yeah, and it's just like where on the like Jim Harbaugh has milk with his steak do you fall on the spectrum of weird? And like Ben Johnson strikes me as an awesome crazy person. Like he strikes me as like I love that he took accountability for that less than perfect moment with the CBS sideline reporter. Like on the scale of 1 to 10, I thought it was a 2. I didn't think it was a huge deal.
That's what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
You know, we did that a couple of days ago, saying I didn't think that's a 2-day story. You know,
No.
I wake up and I'm still hearing about it. I thought, okay, he got a little red ass in him. He was unhappy. His team sucks. His offense that he puts his name on and prides himself on was bad. And someone's like, "Are you going to do something differently?" Well, yeah, we're going to stop being bad.
Yeah, listen, he's taller guy staring down smaller woman is like a visual thing that I think that Ben Johnson did not love how he visually came across.
Same thing. I said, if that's Stacey Dales, it doesn't look like that.
Correct. I thought he looked like a crazy person, and he looked like he was like physically towering and intimidating and like trying to intimidate, and he didn't like how he came across. And so he owned up to it. Like taking like that measure of accountability is a good thing. Calling himself out for the failures of the running game is good, because I have no doubt that he's chewing these guys out in private, and we know he did in training camp, and we know he went hard at Caleb. And by the way, back to the Caleb piece, like we also know, I mean, I've had a guy on that team tell me that like Caleb last year, he would not have given him A+ grades for effort in terms of like studying and professionalism. Like he had always kind of just gotten by on being the best.
Well, he also knew that the guys advising him were idiots.
Yes.
That was the other thing that we know that now, that there's no question that when Matt Eberflus, when you're sitting at his desk, even the stuff we saw at Hard Knocks that was the very best stuff they could possibly find,
yes,
to paint him in the best possible light made him look like an idiot.
Correct. And so I think that like it was as close to a lost year as you could have. And now Ben Johnson is rewiring him. And so, you know, this team has some serious problems, right? Like they don't have much pedigree at tackle outside of Darnell Wright, and we know, you know, the injury there. They can't stop the run, and they've got an inconsistent quarterback learning a new system. So like they are going to look bad at times, and this is going to be a zigzag. It's not going to be linear progress, as the show is called, Forward Progress. Like they'll have a bad loss or 2 or 3, but I don't think it'll be 10 like last year. You know, like I think that they have just like a baseline level of competency here with Ben Johnson that should raise the floor of accountability across the board. I've been impressed by how he's been presenting himself.
I was told by somebody too who's close to him when we were talking about Johnson's honesty with the media. And it was the Abaticola observation was that Johnson's tendency was at the microphone to be really honest and then kind of reel it back in. So he would say what he thought, he would give a real answer, and then mitigate.
Mm-hmm.
And I brought that up to somebody who knows Ben Johnson well. And what I was told was, if anything, expect him to get more emboldened, not less. Because my belief was a younger coach is always going to be like, oh, they're going to kill me for that. They're going to kill me for that. That's a misstep. I don't want that smoke. I don't want somebody from PR pulling me aside, telling me this, this, and this. And they said that's usually what happens. But in his case, as he starts to feel more comfortable, that's just not how he rolls. So I was told,
that would be great.
That's what I said. I said that's all we ask for.
Right.
Yeah, well, I mean, Dan, Matt Nagy went the other way. Matt Nagy year one, it was like, oh my God, this guy is refreshing.
I remember being at the Cub game with you.
Yes.
When Nagy threw that strike and we looked at each other like, this guy's really the dude, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, and people from Kansas City swore to me. They were like, you're going to love him. And by the way, I do like Nagy as a person. Like, he is like a normal guy to talk to. Like, on the football coach spectrum that we were just talking about, like, you could have a beer with Matt Nagy and find yourself like enjoying your time. But by the end of it, it was like contradictory cliches and it was mealy mouthed. And you would ask him, like, what happened on that play call? And he'd be like, I have to go back and watch the film. And then he would watch the film and he'd be like, what happened on that play call? And he'd be like, well, I'm on to the Lions game. And you're like, wait, what the hell? Like, what happened?
That's like Dennis Allen. That's what he's been doing now. It's like, I can't believe you're asking me about that last game. Well, this is our first time talking to you, schmuck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like, and so I felt terrible for Nagy by like year 3 because I was like, where's the guy? You're 41. Like, what happened? Like, how did you change so much? But the job can beat it out of you.
He got bearsed. That's what happened.
Exactly.
He got bearsed. Looking at around the NFL, and you mentioned Kansas City. Apparently, Mahomes and the Chiefs aren't quite dead yet.
Yeah.
Big win over the Ravens, so 2-2, and Baltimore at 1-3. Really, really surprising to see that after 4 weeks in this NFL season.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Ravens side of it, we saw this happen to the Lions last year, where they had just a comical amount of injuries on one side of the ball. And I think that Baltimore has way more talent defensively than Detroit did last year. Like, Detroit lost Hutchinson, and then they lost their other pieces, and it was just too much to overcome. But they still won 15 games. Baltimore, I mean, first-round picks are dropping left and right. Guys who signed $100 million contract, Matabuke being out for the season and maybe his career being in jeopardy, that's a huge deal. Kyle Van Noy is awesome. Nate Wiggins with the elbow injury, he was their first-round pick last year. Roquan Smith, Bears fans obviously know how good he is. 2 more defensive linemen also out for them. Like, it's a staggering number of injuries in week 4 to happen on one side of the ball with great players. Because then you add in also like Marlon Humphrey. I was reading in The Athletic, when Lamar Jackson went out, and we'll see if he plays this week, their 5 highest paid players were all out for that Chiefs game. And then in addition to first round picks and Kyle Van Noy and other players who are just like excellent football players that haven't been their top 5 highest guys. So I think Baltimore's offense is excellent. That game got away from them, but it might not matter if they just have a staggering number of injuries all at the same time on one side of the ball. And then the Chiefs, they're awesome. They're just great. They're just great. Like, Mahomes is unbelievable. Reed is unbelievable. And they, Kelsey got old.
Yeah, Kelsey's not unbelievable anymore.
No.
He's very believable.
He is.
Yeah.
He's very rich. He's very famous. And he'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer, but he's old. And the guy had 97 catches last year, though. He had 97 catches. He's just not supposed to be the main part of your offense. Like, my guess is when Rashee Rice comes back with Xavier Worthy, my guess is Travis Kelce will end of the year. We'll look up and be like, oh, he had 820 yards and 7 touchdowns. Like, by the end of the year, if those guys get healthy. But Kansas City just feels inevitable. Like, they won 15 games last year and they didn't look good in any of them.
I keep having these weird feelings watching NFL where I vacillate wildly from this is the greatest sport on the planet to this is absolutely unwatchable. And I rarely feel in between. Like, sometimes when these penalty marred games, where or you just sometimes you see 2 teams that are playing each other at the wrong time. Sometimes it's in the very same game that you'll get 3 quarters of horror, and then 15 minutes you're like, oh my God, this is absolutely bananas. I don't know how they've done it. I don't know how they've created this product that, no matter when you tune in, even when you think it's at its worst, is when if I flip away, I'm going to look over on social media and somebody's going to say, holy shit, can you believe what just happened in this game?
Yeah, it's the best television product by far. It's just, and I think the simplest, like, people like gambling. Listen, I gamble. I think it's a huge piece of it. Fantasy. I play fantasy. I think it's a huge piece of it. The simplest explanation for me is that every game matters. It's just every game matters. In baseball, it's 1 of 162. So no game really matters. In basketball, it's 1 of 82. So no game really matters. In football, like the Ravens are 1-3. What? Like it's a huge deal. It's, where it's like 25% of the season, 23% of the season out the 17-game schedule. Like, so each game carries this unbelievable importance, and the flow of it is just the game happens on Sunday. We overreact like maniacs on Monday,
and people get fired.
People get fired.
Yeah.
Then we like react, but like with a little bit more like perspective on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, it's like, oh God, it's the slow time of the week. But the coach and the quarterback have to speak. And so there's just like central casting.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a game Thursday. And then we overreact to that game. And then we preview all of the games on Friday. And then like 4.5 hours of like weird football happens on Saturday. And you're like, ugh, this is not good. And then excellent football happens where like the biggest point spread in the world is like, oh, this team is a 12-point favorite over the other team. Meanwhile, on Saturday, a team can be a 38-point favorite over someone else. So like it's awesome. It's the greatest television product, the ebb and the flow to the conversation, the characters, the parody. It's the greatest.
So you watched the Bears Cowboys game. Nice win for Caleb and Ben at home.
Yeah.
How soon do you think before Matt Eberflus is given the old heave-ho by Jerry Jones?
Oh God. I mean, Jerry's like weirdly loyal to his coaches though. So I don't know. Like he might be there for 10 years. Like it's a very
That'd be great for the rest of the NFC East.
Yeah, it would be. Matt Eberflus, tough spot. Like you
lose a generational level pass rusher,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, you go to Dallas. The head coach they hired was like already there, so he's like entrenched and knows everybody, but you're not like really his guy. But we had to hire someone from the outside, and then right before the season, you trade a guy who's like, what kind of pass rush start to his career is he on? He's like, he's somewhere between J.J. Watt and Derek Thomas, right behind Lawrence Taylor. And it's like, that's a tough hand to be dealt. Yeah, it's a tough hand to be dealt to lose Micah Parsons. But yeah, they just don't have the horses defensively. They're gonna be a get right team all year. But Dak Prescott, that dude is really good. He is that game he played against Green Bay Sunday night, I thought was the best game I'd ever seen him play. I thought he was spectacular.
Well, so was George Pickens.
Yeah, he was, and Pickens is going to get paid this offseason. But like to not have CeeDee Lamb, to not have two of your starting offensive linemen, to play a defense that obviously is motivated with Micah Parsons, with Rashawn Gary, with Xavier McKinney, with a defensive coordinator and Jeff Hafley, who people think is going to get head coaching interviews, who held the Lions to 13 points. The Packers scored on every possession of the second half, and Dak just went blow for blow with them and put up 40. He was spectacular.
Yeah, I think it was a good point you made, Dan, when we talked about that game, that any coach, regardless of who they are, if they have the time to game plan and prepare, they can prepare something for an opponent. So the game against the Bears, they lost CeeDee Lamb, and how do you overcome that right at the start of the game?
Yeah, you just spent all week on a game plan with him being the most dangerous player on the field, and now all of a sudden you're throwing to Jay Ferguson 75 times.
Right.
But the difference 1 week can make when you at least know what you
yes.
have tells us about the overall quality of NFL coaching.
Oh, we saw it in the opener, right? Like, I know that people with the Chiefs believe that like that Chiefs-Chargers game in Brazil would have been very different if Xavier Worthy would have like pulled a hamstring in practice,
of course,
as opposed to colliding with Travis Kelce in the first quarter of that game. That like Xavier Worthy was going to be a huge piece of their game plan, and they don't have anyone else who's as fast as him. So when they lose him, it's like, we have to throw all of that stuff out of the game plan, and it made them lose.
Before we let you go, I appreciate you taking your time out of your busy day. It's been a whirlwind for you, obviously, with everything that's gone on, and leaving the Score, going to breakfast ball, and dealing with all of the logistical stuff with your family and everything else, and 2 young kids. And now you've moved on to first things first because of the changes there. Do you feel like the sands have finally stopped shifting under your feet a little bit, or is this just the nature of our industry right now?
Yeah, I think that. It's been incredibly fun. It's a really cool new challenge. My best friend in the world is Nick Wright, who is arguably the biggest star in the business right now. So like getting to work with him every day, like for the first time. I mean, we worked at the same station in Kansas City, but not on the same show. The fact that like we did Syracuse basketball post-game shows together in college, and now we do national TV at 5 p.m. Eastern together every day is just so much fun. Like we have so much. We watch football together for 11 hours on Sunday, and then we just like bring it to national television together on this like unbelievably popular, really well-rated show that he created. So this gig is really fun. The family part is definitely weird. Like it's moving and schools and childcare, and I'm getting up at 4 a.m. and now I'm not but now the show has changed. And so now I'm doing the morning routine, and now I don't get home until 7 o'clock at night, but but the kids get to like watch me on TV, and it's just so it's very weird. We're adjusting to suburban New York life, but if you've lived in the suburbs of Chicago, you could live in the suburbs of New York. Like New York's awesome. Like I got to take my wife out to a omakase restaurant and then go see Bill Burr, Kieran Culkin, and oh God, why am I blanking on the third star? Do Glengarry Glen Ross on Broadway. And it's just like, this was why how am I blanking on this? It was Kieran Culkin, Bill Burr, and Bob Odenkirk. And Bob Odenkirk.
Bob
Odenkirk.
Yeah, just that guy.
Yeah.
Who does he play? Shelley Levine? Who plays the Machine Levine?
Kieran Culkin was the main star, and then Odenkirk. Yeah, Odenkirk. What is?
The one who's always the nervous old guy with the daughter who eventually is caught. Spoiler alert: the guy who they eventually catch stealing the Glengarry leads.
Yes. Oh, that is Odenkirk. Odenkirk is Shelley Levine. And he was nominated for a Tony. He was incredible.
Wow, because that was the role that Mike Nussbaum made famous here in Chicago. That I saw him do that. Jack Lemmon, of course, famously in the movie.
Yeah, Kieran Culkin was Roma, and then Odenkirk Levine, and then Bill Burr, Dave Moss.
Yeah, Roma is the Pacino role.
Yeah,
correct, and he plays it very differently.
I bet he's a
whoa. And I've heard such great things about that. So that's awesome that you got to go see it too.
Yeah, but like that's just like an example. By the way, right. Tanny came out for it. So like Tanny and his wife and me and Steph, we did like a New York double date. And Tanny came and saw the show, and we went out to Second Avenue Deli, and like so we just like did a New York week. Like it's incredible.
Do you like Second Avenue?
I love Second Avenue.
See, my problem is it's a true kosher deli.
Yeah.
And so you can't get a Reuben, you can't get a cheeseburger, and like the cream cheese is that weird parva,
But I like the pastrami.
The meat is great.
I'm just going for the pastrami.
Yes.
I go and I get the big pastrami sandwich, and they have a sandwich called the Heart Attack. With the 2 latkes as the bread.
Mm-hmm.
It's the greatest.
Nice.
It's and you can like sit down and have get a table with a beer as opposed to Katz's.
That's true.
It's just sensory overload and like intimidating.
Oh, dude, we went to New York last December. It was my first time ever in New York because I've hated it for years because of the Knicks, so I refused to go.
Idiot.
So I know. I finally gave in to go, and we're there, and we go to Katz's. And the line was just way around the building, and it was raining, and I was like, I'm not interested. And my wife was like, you sure you don't want to just wait? You've been talking about this for weeks. And I'm like, I don't. And she's like, where do you want to go? And I just turned around, and there was a falafel place right across the street. And I'm like, that looks good. Let's go there. And it was the best falafel sandwich and shawarma I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, and there's 7 of those on every corner. Like the bodega across from our studio. Like I was like, this pastrami sandwich is incredible, and like all these New Yorkers are making fun of me. I'm like, no, like legitimately,
this is right. It is. Yeah,
like, this sandwich is amazing, and it's like there's like a cat that lives in the store. So
bodega cat.
Yeah, exactly.
Every bodega's got a cat.
It's central casting, dude. It is central casting, and so yeah, just like. Pat McGann invited me to go see him at the Garden open for Sebastian Maniscalco. And he gave me a pass to the Garden. And so I'm like walking around. Like, this is so dope. All access past Madison Square Garden. And he's like, you picked a good night, man. I'm like, yeah, I picked a good night. You're opening at Madison Square Garden. He's like, no. There's 3 openers tonight instead of 2. Every night of the tour, it's going to be me and Sebastian's podcast partner. He's like, but tonight there's a third. I'm like, oh, really? Who? Seinfeld.
Oh,
and
Jesus.
and Seinfeld just walks into the green room like 20 minutes later, and I'm just totally starstruck. And I'm standing there with my all access pass in the corner of Madison Square Garden, watching Seinfeld go up, shock the crowd. And he does New York material, obviously. He's killing. And he goes, and by the way, I'm really more of a theater guy, but I'm so close with Sebastian, I couldn't say no. This is my first time playing Madison Square Garden. And the place went fucking insane. Because he just like never done it because he doesn't like playing in arenas.
That's so cool.
It was so cool. And so just like that was like a Wednesday.
So you're not very happy down there, is what you're saying. Things are really rough. Okay.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I get it, man.
What do you, real quick,
there.
we'll let you go in a second. What do you think of Mulaney playing Wrigley in this coming July? Because that's, for a comic, thinking about all of the acoustic headwinds and everything that you've got, that's a big risk.
It is. I remember, not to name drop, I talked to Crane Kenny. No, when I was talking to Crane.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you
Tell
did?
us more.
Wow.
No, but when we were doing radio thought planning one time, I was like, why have you never had a comedian play Wrigley? He's like, oh, we're talking about it. Because Bill Burr did Fenway. And it's, now that these comedians can sell out, if you could sell out the United Center, you can sell out Wrigley. Mm-hmm. And so he will sell it out. He will be great. The weather is like a weird component of it. I agree with Seinfeld. I don't love, whenever I go see an act at Madison Square Garden, United Center, whatever, the problem is I end up watching the comedian on the video board.
Because you want to see his face.
Yeah. Exactly. And so comedy is best enjoyed at the Comedy Cellar, which I've been to like 12 times since I've lived in New York, because it's just the greatest deal in the city by far. It's $12 and a 2-drink minimum, and you're guaranteed to see at least 5 comics, but sometimes anybody can walk in and drop. It's the greatest. But so like it's a risk, but like Wrigley's done enough concerts that I feel like they've figured out
for sure.
They figured out the sound at this point. And I would just say to people, like, if you want to see Mulaney, you should probably see him in Chicago theater over Wrigley in terms of like seeing him. But it's a Saturday in July. Like there's a 50-50 shot I fly in to go to the show just for the spectacle of seeing a comic at Wrigley. I think it'll be awesome.
I've done one concert at Wrigley, and it was 2009. It was Elton John and Billy Joel. And it couldn't have been a better. I mean, it was an unbelievable experience and venue, and that was 2009.
I've had great experiences. Now I've seen what? I've seen the Police. I've seen
Ice,
Green Day, Zac Brown, and AC/DC. Green Day was bad. Zac Brown was meh. The Police was really good. AC/DC absolutely blew the doors off everything. One of the best shows I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
just incredible.
I saw Lumineers and I saw Springsteen, and I had a blast at both. Yeah. But I'm also not a music critic. I have no idea. I'm just amazed that they're making music.
You're just a lapsed clarinetist. As you know. Exactly. All right. I promise. Last thing. What's your go-to pizza slice?
Ooh.
I mean, dude, there's so many there. So Lit Industry, have you been to that place?
Mm-mm. No, but I almost went there.
The slice is outrageous. Mama's 2. Have you been to Mama's 2? There's 2 locations. And they're both excellent. But like Mama's 2, that place is incredible.
Have you been to Norm's?
I have not been to Norm's.
Oh, dude.
Really?
Best one.
Norm's is, I had it, and we were visiting my sister in Brooklyn.
Okay.
And I stumbled on it. And it's one of those things where, like, let's get a slice. I'm with Jason.
Is it only in Brooklyn?
No. There's one.
There's one in the financial district.
Yeah, one in Lower Manhattan.
Yep.
Okay, and right. So I look at it, I'm like, wow, this looks good. Let's just go get a slice. And I took a couple bites, and I said, Jason, this may be the best slice of New York pizza I've ever had in my life. He's like, no, you're just hungry. He said, I'm sure it's good. Don't overrate it. You're being Bernstein. You're being hyperbolic.
Yeah.
I said, no, kid. I swear to God, I think this is great. So I went back and I tried to say, like, I'm going to say, all right, we do it again. Maybe I just got him on a good day. It really is the best slice. Just cheese,
So good.
Well done.
So
Okay.
Norm's is phenomenal.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, I have a running New York list of like things to try, and that was when I was doing breakfast ball in the morning, and I was done with work at 10 a.m.
Perfect.
And we had childcare, and like Steph is working all day. I'm like, I was just like taking lunch out in the city every single day.
Nice.
Like, because I could get home whenever the hell I wanted. So I was just like, oh, that's like 40 blocks away.
You get anything though, like you get the bodega bacon, egg, and cheese.
Oh yeah, it was the best. I went and I was like, I asked a producer, I was like, what's good around this place that I was like seeing some show at, and she was like, oh, the Cuban restaurant down the block from there is absolutely incredible. And I was like, oh, okay, not normally something that I would have done. And we went, and I was like, that Cuban restaurant was incredible. It was incredible.
Well, Danny, life sounds pretty rough. I'm gonna pray for you every day, man, and just keep you in my thoughts, because it just sounds like you're really struggling out in New York. And so
someone has to do 1 hour of day of television with their best friend and live in New York. Someone has to do it.
Yeah, it might as well be you, right, Ron?
Might as well be me.
All right, good stuff, man.
Thanks, man.
See you guys.
That's Danny Parkins, and this has been Forward Progress, a Chicago Bears podcast on 312 Sports.
219!
Forward Progress, a Chicago Bears podcast with Dan Bernstein and Matt Abaticola on 312 Sports.